What's up, scoundrels? Welcome to the video. Today I'll be sharing 5 tips I believe will help you improve your rank. I've got a little bonus tip at the end. Tip number 5, know your maps. I know we've all been there.
What
this is not for you.
Wait a minute.
Taking time in a custom game to search each map and know where every health pack is, especially the big health packs, can change the outcome of every game you play. Not being reliant on someone else's performance allows you to potentially solo carry a game just because you know where to heal up on your own. I also recommend knowing each route that's available, knockoff points, and how to get to high ground. I can make a full video on this topic alone, so I highly recommend taking the time to do this. Number 4, pick one role. If you really want to grow your skills, choosing the role that you enjoy the most and knowing that role's responsibilities are going to grow your skills faster than you would expect. I know it can be tempting to keep things interesting, balance between roles, but it's harder to build good habits while changing between playstyles every game. Since I mentioned it, I wanted to quickly touch on each role's responsibilities, but I think that would also take a full video to really go in depth there. The tank. The tank's main responsibility is to create space for the team and absorb damage, meaning you need to apply pressure, allowing your team to set up and do their jobs respectively. You need to be in the enemy's face as much as possible while also allowing your healers time to keep you alive. The damage role. The damage role's responsibilities are to make picks, hold and clear areas, and dive the enemy backlines. As a damage main, positioning is super important for you, as it can be the difference between clutch plays and a death screen simulator.
The floor, that was funny.
The support role. The support role's responsibilities are to keep everyone alive, if that wasn't obvious enough, buffing your teammates and sometimes applying negative effects to the opposing team. But what many healers may not realize is putting out damage in downtime as well. It may seem appealing to focus on just healing and keeping your team alive, but often there's downtime where your team is close to full health and your extra damage output could be the difference in taking that next point. Tip number 3, choose your mains. As well as picking a role to focus on, I believe that choosing no more than 3 characters in that role will improve your gameplay dramatically. Staying focused on improving on just a few heroes will yield results much quicker than if you spread your time among all the heroes in a role. To help you choose, I've attempted to break down the heroes into 3 different kits for each role. Choosing from one of each of these categories should allow you to swap if you're being countered, while also reducing your hero pool. For the tanks, I broke them down into dive, shields, and brawlers. Dive includes D.Va, Doomfist, Winston, and Wrecking Ball. Shields are Reinhardt and Sigma, and the brawlers are Junker Queen, Orisa, Roadhog, and Zarya. For damage heroes, I divided them into short, mid-range, and long-range. I know some of these characters have diversity in the ranges that they can do damage in, but I try to group them into the areas where they're most effective. For short-range heroes, I included Genji, Mei, Reaper, Sombra, Symmetra, and Tracer. The mid-range heroes includes Bastion, Cassidy, Echo, Junkrat, Sojourn, Soldier, 76, and Torbjorn. For the long-range heroes, I included Ashe, Hanzo, Pharah, and Widowmaker. As for the healing heroes, even though this is the smallest pool of characters, it may be the most diverse in the utility that each champion provides. I divided them into single target healing, AoE healing, and damage focused healing. I know most of these healers can provide solo and AoE healing, but I chose the category based on what they're most effective at. The single target healers include Ana, Kiriko, and Mercy. The area effect healers include Baptiste and Lucio, and the damage focused healers are Brigitte, Moira, and Zenyatta. To reiterate, choosing only one character from each of these groups will allow you to swap based off your team and the enemy team, allowing for big combos or if you're being countered. Tip number 2, know how to position. By far one of the biggest weaknesses that I see are people standing out in the open firing at the enemy team and wondering why they got picked so easily. These next few positioning tips apply to all heroes. Holding high ground is almost always a great position to be in. Having most of your body behind cover while also making headshots easier to hit is just a win-win situation. If you can't hold high ground, then holding in corners is the next best thing. Peeking to get shots in and apply pressure, and then backing up to reload or heal can make a huge difference in your games. You become much harder to hit, and typically the enemy team has to push to you to attack, putting them in a more vulnerable position. Lastly, this relates to tip number 1, fight near health packs. Being able to quickly back off of a fight if you take a big hit, heal most or all of your health back, and immediately re-enter the fight can have dramatic effects on your ability to hold back the enemy team. Tip number 1, hold a strong mental. Staying focused on your performance and not letting others or your own mistakes break down your confidence will make the biggest difference in your abilities no matter what your goal is. I recommend quickly muting others if they're being toxic. Overwatch 2 can be a very frustrating game, and people are quick to blame anyone but themselves. I personally try to stay focused on what I can do differently to make the game go in my favor, not what anyone else is doing. I also recommend not flaming your teammates, even if they aren't playing well. The added pressure you put on them will only make them play worse, or even leave the game. and getting any help they were giving you. My philosophy is either you win or you learn. If you lose a game, really reflect on what you could have done differently. Discovering the mistakes that are holding you back can make it to where you win games with those same problems in the future. And finally, my bonus tip is to take breaks. If your games haven't been going well, it may be a sign to take a few minutes away from the game. Go for a walk, grab a snack, make sure you stay hydrated. You'll be surprised how refreshed you feel when you come back to the next comp game. That's all I've got for you today. If you want more in-depth guides on any of these topics or have a question, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm curious to see what you're interested in. Anyways, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.